I'm delighted to say joining me now is One Nation MP Barnaby Joyce. Barnaby, great to see you as always. South Australia goes to the polls tomorrow. Pleasure. A recent poll shows One Nation leading the Liberal Party in primary votes by 22 to 19. Is it going to be a big day for One Nation tomorrow?
I hope so. I think you'll get a proper indication of how One Nation's going in the South Australia's upper house, because that will reflect the proportion of the vote across the state. In their House of Representatives, in their lower house, it's going to be difficult for One Nation because the other parties will preference to make sure One Nation doesn't get there. They don't want competition in the marketplace. They like the duopoly, which is really the uni party. But it's going to be really important, not just for South Australia, but an indicator for Australia. Do we have this capacity to be decisive, to tell people that we're really not happy with the direction it's going with electricity prices and fuel prices and cost of living? Do we really want to continue on with the climate change department, or should we get rid of it and allocate that money back to more substantial assets? There's a whole range of things. Do you want to go back to coal-fired power stations to get some strength into our economy, or do you want to continue on building wind towers and solar panels and just live in this fantasia which is dragging us into the dirt, nose first? There's so much on the line tomorrow, so let's see how it goes.
So your former colleague Matt Canavan is saying let's start drilling for oil and get Australia moving again. Do you support that?
Well, 100%. In fact, I think we're there before them. But you look, is that what the coalition is going to do? Do they now believe in drilling in further into Bass Strait? Do they believe in exploration in the Gulf of Carpentaria? Do you believe in going off the coast of Western Australia for exploration? Do you believe now that you have to expedite the process of drilling it in Taroom? Do you actually believe this, or is this just rhetoric? I know Matt Canavan's heart is in the right place. The problem I have is I don't think Matt Canavan's heart and the coalition's views are on the same planet.
And as for our dear old friend Chris Bowen and the Labor Party, they seem to be staring like stunned mullets in front of the fuel crisis. What's your remedy for the fuel crisis?
Well, I remember I brought this up first in the Parliament, where everyone else was talking about other things. I said, I think we've got a bit of a problem here. Started with Tanya Plibersek saying nothing to worry about, we have electric trucks, electric semis, good luck with that. And then we had them saying there's nothing to worry about. A couple of days later, there's a little bit to worry about. A week later, apparently there's a crisis. Unfortunately, Rowan, this is going to get worse. I don't want it to get worse, but it will. Because the oil that we were using at the start, Rowan, was actually oil that was extracted from the Middle East before the war started. Now we're reaching into the time frame of when the war was going. And remember, our oil comes from the Middle East and goes up to Singapore and Southeast Asia, and they refine it and send it down to Australia. So you have to ask the question, is that oil going to be moving to those refineries now? And I haven't heard Chris Bowen say anything about this. I don't think he's across his brief. He wasn't at the start, he wasn't in the middle, and the less said about the end, the better. And so, and now they're going to have a fuel czar. Fuel czar. That sounds very Romanoff. A fuel czar. What was Bowen's job? I thought he was a fuels. I thought he was the energy minister.
Well,
how many czars do we need? I mean,
I just quickly want to play you this grab of Anthony Albanese. I think he's trying to attack One Nation, but have a listen to this bizarre comment.
Vote for us and the world will stop. Or worse still, we'll go back to the Australia of the 1950s or 60s with the same population that looked like that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
So Albo's saying if you vote One Nation, it's because you want to go back to the 1950s or 60s. I reckon the 50s and 60s were the best time ever. So if you vote One Nation, you want to go back to the best music, the best lifestyle. Everyone was happy. Everyone had a great life. We had a great migrant nation as well. What do you think?
Imagine that. Imagine going back to a time where we made our own fuel, had sensible electricity, had more social harmony. We didn't have the breakdown to balkanisation that we've had with the so-called multiculturalism, which is kind of crazy. You should just have an Australian culture with strong guardrails.
I couldn't agree more, Barnaby.